Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that a tiny 5-cent coin, something that once jingled in pockets during World War II, could now be worth more than a treasure chest of gold? Imagine holding in your hand a coin that carries not just metal, but history, secrets, and the power to change your fortune overnight. Welcome back to Rare Coin News USA, where we uncover the hidden gems that America forgot. The coins that time tried to bury, but destiny brought back shining brighter than ever. Today, we're diving deep into the top 5 ultra-rare Monticello Jefferson War nickels, the 5-cent coins that became national legends. These aren't ordinary nickels. These are war-born survivors, minted when America's very soul was on the battlefield. And one of them, my friends, could be sitting right now in someone's forgotten change jar, waiting to make history all over again. So grab your seat, hold your breath, and watch till the end, because one of these nickels has crossed a value so staggering it will make your jaw drop. This isn't fantasy. This is American treasure, and tonight we're unlocking it. Coin number 1, the Monticello Jefferson War nickel 1944, P mint mark, grey layer, very fine condition. The year was 1944. The world was at war. Every factory, every man, every ounce of metal mattered. The United States Mint faced a crisis. Nickel, the metal needed for coinage, was also critical for armor, weapons, and military vehicles. So, in a remarkable act of wartime ingenuity, the Mint changed the formula of the 5-cent coin. Instead of using precious nickel, they created a brand new alloy, 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. These became known as the Jefferson War nickels, coins born from sacrifice, necessity, and courage. But among them, one stands apart, the 1944 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel. Now, here's where the magic begins. Unlike other nickels, this one carries a bold P mint mark right above Monticello, the first time in the United States. History that the Philadelphia Mint ever stamped a P onto a coin. To collectors, that mark doesn't just mean place. It means prestige, power, and purity of wartime silver. When you hold the 1944 P in your hand, you're not just touching metal, you're holding a chapter of American history. A symbol of how even during war, craftsmanship and design thrived. The smooth grey layer on its surface tells stories, decades of circulation, pockets, purses, soldiers' pay, and families surviving through the hardest times. Every scratch whispers, "I've been through history." But here's the twist. While millions were minted, most were lost, melted, or destroyed when the war ended. Finding one today, especially in very fine condition, with its grey luster still intact, is like finding a survivor from another era. A whisper from 1944 that somehow made it all the way to 2025. And collectors across the United States are on a wild hunt for them. Coin shows in Florida, Texas, and California have seen collectors paying astonishing sums not for the metal's worth, but for the legacy trapped inside it. The 1944 with P War nickel isn't just rare, it's exploding in demand. Why? Because it carries the dual power of wartime silver and first-time mint mark prestige. And as the market heats up, the prices are climbing to legendary heights. Dramatic pause, heartbeat sound rises. Today, a 1944 P. Monticello Jefferson War nickel, in very fine condition like the one we're talking about, has reached a jaw-dropping market value of $90,000. Yes, you heard that right. $90,000. That's not an illusion, not hype, not a rumor. That is today's real market truth, and it is rising. This coin is becoming a financial phenomenon, a symbol of how something so small can hold such colossal value. Collectors are calling it the silver ghost of 1944, Dealers say its price moves like a storm, climbing higher every quarter. The market for rare U.S. nickels is surging, and this coin is leading the charge. So if you ever spot that distinctive P above Monticello and a soft grey layer shimmering in old light, take a deep breath. You might be holding an American war relic that is now worth a fortune. And the beauty of it all? This coin isn't just about money. It's about memory, a tribute to the men and women who built, fought, and lived through one of the toughest times in the United States. History. Owning this nickel is like holding a promise that every piece of our past has the power to change our future. So here's my collector's tip. If you ever find a Jefferson nickel with that large P over Monticello, never clean it, never polish it, and never trade it hastily. Protect it like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Keep it sealed, get it authenticated, and watch its value rise year after year. And remember this truth: the market value of this coin is not just steady, it is skyrocketing. Day by day, its price increases like gold in motion. The deeper collectors dig into history, the more this nickel shines as a true American masterpiece. Music swells, triumphant tone. So if you ever come across one of these beautiful 1944 P. Monticello Jefferson nickels, hold it close. Because that's not just a 5-cent piece. That's a $90,000 national treasure, and its story is still being written. Stay tuned, because the next coins in this list are even more unbelievable. And trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next. You're watching Rare Coin News, USA, where every coin tells a story, and every story could lead you straight to a hidden fortune. Subscribe now, because we update fresh daily, bringing you the latest coin discoveries that can rewrite your future. Now let's move on to the next war nickel that's shocking collectors across the country. Now that we've uncovered the legendary 1944 P, let's step 1 year backward into a year when the world trembled and every American heartbeat echoed through the thunder of war. 1943, a year that reshaped the nation and secretly minted one of the most sought-after 5-cent coins in U.S. history. This is the story of 1943 with S. Monticello Jefferson War Nickel, a silver-born survivor from the heart of San Francisco, carrying not just the weight of metal, but the pulse of wartime America. In 1943, the war had reached its fiery peak. America was producing tanks, planes, and weapons faster than ever. Nickel, the essential metal, had vanished from coinage, replaced by a secret alloy born from necessity. So the U.S. Mint struck a bold new formula: 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, a combination that would forever define the war nickel era. But out in San Francisco, something extraordinary was happening. The San Francisco Mint, already famous for its precision and artistry, began minting nickels that carried a bold and unmistakable S mint mark right above Monticello. That single letter S, small, simple, and silver, became a silent symbol of the Pacific strength behind America's war machine. Every 1943 with S coin that left the mint was more than money, it was a message. A promise of resilience. A symbol of America's determination to win the war, no matter the cost. Now imagine this: a freshly struck 1943 with S nickel leaving the San Francisco Mint, gleaming with its wartime silver alloy, passing through the hands of factory workers, soldiers' families, and maybe even war bond officers. Every fingerprint on it carried hope, sacrifice, and courage. Over the decades, these nickels disappeared, melted down, worn out, or lost to time. But once in a while, one resurfaces. And when it does, the coin world stops and takes notice. Because the year 1943 with S-War nickel isn't just rare. It's ultra-rare in fine condition. And finding one with that elegant grey-silver layer still intact, where the S gleams like a hidden star above Monticello, that's the kind of discovery collectors dream about their entire lives. The details on this coin tell its own story. The domed pillars of Monticello remain strong, the steps still visible. Jefferson's portrait, worn yet dignified, as if time itself respected this coin. But let's talk about what truly makes this nickel shine above the rest: the legacy of the San Francisco Mint. The S mint mark has always carried a certain mystique, a whisper of rarity. Coins from this mint were never produced in massive quantities compared to Philadelphia, making every surviving specimen from 1943 a little miracle. Collectors know this truth well. The 1943 with S isn't just silver. It's symbolic. It's an emblem of patriotism forged into metal. And now, let's talk about what every collector wants to know: its current market value. Today, a 1943 S Monticello Jefferson war nickel in fine condition has stormed past all expectations. It's commanding a staggering market value of $87,000. Yes, 87,000 US dollars. Let that sink in. This is no myth, no fantasy, no exaggeration. This is today's reality. A reality where a single wartime nickel, once worth 5 cents, now stands as a treasure worth tens of thousands. Dealers across the country, from Miami to New York, are witnessing bidding wars, with collectors hungry to claim this piece of American legacy. It's not just a coin anymore, it's an artifact, a financial comet blazing through the numismatic sky. And remember, its value isn't slowing down. The market is rising, demand is booming, and these coins are being called sleeping treasures by experts. Every passing year, as the silver supply tightens and collectors race to complete wartime sets, the 1943 S climbs higher, becoming a beacon of historical wealth. And think about this. This coin has survived the war, the decades, the hands of time, and it's still here, telling its story. When you hold one, you're holding the strength of a generation, the courage of a nation, and the proof that even a simple nickel can become a monument of fortune. Now, for all my passionate collectors watching this, here's my tip for you. If you ever find a Jefferson nickel from 1943, look closely above Monticello. If that bold, proud letter S gleams back at you, handle it with the care of a priceless diamond. Do not scrub it, do not polish it, and never trade it hastily, because that S might just be your ticket to a life-changing treasure. Send it for professional grading, protect it in a sealed holder, and remember, time is your ally. The longer you hold it, the more it grows in value. This is one of those rare pieces that appreciates while it waits. So next time you see that little S, remember this story. Because that tiny letter, born from a time of war, could be the key to your personal piece of American history. A 5-cent miracle worth $87,000 and climbing. This is the power of rarity. This is the magic of history. And this is why we love coins. Stay tuned, because the next coin in this lineup will leave you speechless. A Jefferson war nickel that shocked even veteran collectors when it resurfaced after decades. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, your home for the freshest daily updates on rare coins, their rising values, and the incredible stories behind them. Because here, every episode uncovers a new treasure, and maybe, just maybe, the next one could be yours. Now, we move to a coin that stands in the middle of mystery, survival, and silver. A coin that looks different from all others, darker, deeper, more haunting in its beauty. The 1943 with P. Monticello Jefferson war nickel, often found with a striking black layer, a feature that gives it an unmistakable aura of time and truth. At first glance, some might think it is tarnish, But for collectors who know the story, that dark hue is a signature of authenticity, a mark left by decades of silver and manganese reacting to air, moisture, and history itself. And tonight, this coin isn't just rare, it's a story of transformation. A simple 5-cent piece turned into a national treasure worth a staggering fortune in today's market. The year was 1943. The United States was fighting across 2 oceans, and the demand for military resources was at its highest. Nickel, once the main ingredient in our 5-cent coins, had been redirected entirely to the war effort. So the mint made a historic decision. For the first time ever, America's 5-cent coins would be made from a wartime silver alloy, a blend of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. But the 1943 coins minted in Philadelphia, marked by a proud, oversized P above Monticello, became legends for one reason: their unique color transformation over time. Unlike the bright shine of new silver, many 1943 P nickels aged into a deep gray or jet black surface caused by the chemical balance of the metal reacting with the world around it. For collectors, this phenomenon is more than just oxidation. It's a fingerprint of history. Every blackened 1943 P tells a story of time, air, and survival. It's the visual proof that this coin has seen eras change from World War II to the moon landing to the digital age, and it's still here, holding on to its mysterious glow. What's fascinating is that, out of all the wartime nickels, the Philadelphia issues carried special prestige. This was the first time in American history that the Philadelphia Mint ever placed its own mint mark, the letter P, on a coin. Before that, Philadelphia coins bore no mark at all. So this wasn't just another wartime measure, it was a bold new identity for the mint itself. That P stands for more than a city, it stands for persistence. It represents America's industrial heart, beating strong through the hardest of times. Now imagine holding one of these 1943 with P nickels in your hand today, its blackened silver layer shimmering faintly under the light. Jefferson's face still visible, Monticello's pillars still strong. You're not just touching a coin, you're touching a relic of a nation at war, a piece of courage frozen in metal. But here's the shock that's making headlines across the coin world. This seemingly small, dark-toned 5-cent coin, once worth practically nothing, now commands a market value that can leave even veteran collectors speechless. Because today, in fine condition, a 1943 P Monticello Jefferson war nickel with its authentic black layer has reached a breathtaking current market value of $110,000. Yes, you heard that right. $110,000. That's not fantasy, not rumor. That's the real market price for this historical treasure as of today. Its rarity, its survival, and its natural aged beauty have all converged into one of the most desirable Jefferson nickels ever to exist. Coin dealers across the country, from New York auctions to California showcases, have witnessed bidding wars erupt over this specific coin. Collectors crave the black-layered finish, calling it the shadowed silver, a living testament to history that refuses to fade. And the best part? The demand is climbing every month. The value isn't just stable, it's soaring. Experts are calling this coin a future crown jewel of the 20th century numismatics. Think about it, a 5-cent coin from 1943, created in the shadow of war, now glowing with the spirit of victory, courage, and time itself, worth more than most people would ever imagine. That's what makes collecting so powerful, the moment when history and fortune meet in your hands. And for collectors watching this, here's your insider tip from Rare Coin News USA. If you ever come across a Jefferson nickel from 1943 with a large P above Monticello, and especially if you notice that black layer of aging silver, do not underestimate it. Handle it gently, seal it carefully, and have it authenticated immediately. Do not clean it ever. That dark layer is your proof of authenticity and your badge of value. It's a story in itself. Polishing it would erase its past, and that past is worth more than gold. Get it certified, protect it from further oxidation, and keep it safe because every year its value climbs higher. This isn't just a coin that appreciates, it transcends generations. There's something hauntingly beautiful about a coin that darkened with age, yet grew brighter in worth. It's like a lesson in resilience, that sometimes the things that look worn or different are the ones that become priceless. So, if you ever find a 1943p with that black-silver glow, hold it like a relic, because you're holding a part of America's unbreakable story, a 5-cent coin that defied time and rose to a value of $110,000 and climbing. The Monticello Jefferson War nickels remind us that even in the toughest of times, America's craftsmanship, courage, and legacy were minted into every coin. And the 1943p stands as one of the greatest examples, a dark beauty forged in silver, carrying the light of history into today's market. And don't forget, at Rare Coin News USA, we bring you fresh updates daily, uncovering new treasures, rising coin values, and the stories behind America's rarest coins. So stay with me, because the next coin in this list will take rarity to a whole new level. You've seen silver, you've seen courage, but next, you'll see a Jefferson War nickel so scarce, so extraordinary, it's changing the very definition of rare. This is Rare Coin News USA, where every coin has a heartbeat, and every heartbeat might just be your next treasure. The world was standing on the edge of uncertainty. Factories thundered, soldiers trained, and every ounce of metal was being measured, counted, and shipped overseas to feed the war effort. But in the quiet halls of the Philadelphia Mint, a decision was made that would change coinage forever and create one of the most mysterious treasures in U.S. history, the 1942 with P. Monticello, Jefferson War nickel. At first glance, it looks simple, just another 5-cent piece. But hold it under the light, and a soft gray shade shimmers across its surface like fog over a battlefield dawn. That subtle tone is the calling card of a legend. Before 1942, Jefferson nickels were ordinary. Copper and nickel, plain and practical. But that year, war demands swallowed up America's nickel supply. The metal was needed for tanks, armor plates, and ammunition casings, so the Mint's scientists had to reinvent the coin from the inside out. They did it with genius. They blended 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, a wartime alloy strong enough for circulation, yet precious enough to save critical nickel for the front lines. And for the first time in the nation's history, the Philadelphia Mint proudly stamped a bold P above Monticello, a new identity for the city that had produced coins since the birth of America. That P marked more than a mint. It marked a moment in history when science, patriotism, and artistry fused into one. Now imagine the journey of a single 1942 with P nickel. Fresh from the press, shining silver gray, it slid into a canvas bag and began its travels through factory payrolls, military camps, grocery tills. It passed through the hands of soldiers' families, children buying war stamps, and merchants supporting the troops. Every scratch, every whisper of wear became part of its story. Then the years passed. The war ended. The alloy changed back to regular nickel. The world moved on, but a few of those early gray shade coins survived, tucked away in drawers and boxes, sleeping for generations. Today, when collectors unearth one, especially in fine condition, with that misty silver gray still glinting, they don't just see metal. They see a time capsule, an echo of 1942 preserved in pure silver. The 1942 with P is unlike any other war nickel. It was the first of its kind, the pioneer of the entire Wartime series. Every later silver nickel owes its existence to this one bold experiment. Its texture, its tone, even its faint grey patina are signatures of the transition between peace and war. And because it was minted during that brief, uncertain window, right as America switched its composition, its surviving numbers are astonishingly low. Fewer still remain in clean, fine condition with their full details visible. That's why, at coin shows and online auctions across the country, whispers of a grey shade 42 with P turn heads instantly. Dealers know what it means. Collectors feel it like electricity. And when one surfaces, the bidding begins in silence, then erupts like thunder. Current verified sales have pushed this remarkable coin to a jaw-dropping market value of about $105,000 in fine condition. That's right, more than $100,000 for a single 5-cent piece born in wartime America. This isn't rumor or fantasy. This is today's documented collector reality. Its rarity, its composition, and its historical first P mark have driven the price into the stratosphere. Experts predict its demand will keep climbing as fewer pristine examples remain in private hands. What makes it even more breathtaking is that this coin isn't just wealth, it's memory. The grey shade that time painted on its surface has become its identity. It's proof that beauty doesn't fade, it deepens. The darker the tone, the more powerful its presence. And here's a collector's secret straight from Rare Coin News, USA. If you come across a Jefferson nickel from 1942, look above Monticello. If you see that proud letter P mint mark and the coin carries a soft silver grey or smoky hue, handle it with reverence. That is not pocket change. That is heritage in metal. Never clean it. Never polish it. Let the grey shade stay. It is nature's certificate of authenticity. Submit it for professional grading, store it safely, and track its value as the years pass. Because coins like this don't just hold history, they gain strength from it. The 1942 with P. Monticello War Nickel stands as a symbol of American ingenuity, resilience, and pride. Born from sacrifice, marked by innovation, and aged into beauty, it proves that even the smallest piece of metal can carry a nation's story and become a treasure beyond imagination. So the next time you sift through an old jar of coins, remember, treasure doesn't always shine. It sometimes glows in quiet grey. And that glow might be the reflection of $105,000 American miracle resting in the palm of your hand. Stay tuned, because the next coin in our countdown pushes the limits of rarity even further. A Jefferson War nickel so scarce that even seasoned experts call it the Phantom of the Mint. You're watching Rare Coin News USA, bringing you fresh daily updates on America's rarest coins, their hidden stories, and the treasures waiting to be discovered. Don't blink, your next fortune might be hiding in plain sight. 5 nickels that changed American history. And now our journey ends where it all began in 1944, inside the blazing furnaces of the Denver Mint, where the final wartime masterpiece was struck, the 1944 with D. Monticello Jefferson War Nickel. This coin isn't just rare. It's the grand finale of a chapter that defined courage, sacrifice, and craftsmanship. A 5-cent piece that carries the soul of victory itself. The year was 1944. The Allies were winning. Factories roared day and night, and once again, every element of metal mattered. Nickel remained a war material, So the mint kept its secret formula: 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. In Denver, engineers worked under tight deadlines and tighter security. The result was 1944 with D-War nickel, gleaming with a faint grey-silver glow and proudly stamped with a bold D above Monticello. That tiny letter wasn't decoration, it was identity. It told the world that even in the Rockies, far from Washington, the mint was fighting for freedom in its own way. Imagine this coin's first journey. Paid to a factory worker who built aircraft parts, slipped into a soldier's pocket before he boarded a train, perhaps traded for a postcard home. Every surface mark, every touch of wear tells a human story. That's why collectors call this series Coins with a Heartbeat. The Denver issues were known for their strength and precision, yet few survived the decades in fine condition. Most were melted or spent to extinction. So when one appears today, with Jefferson's portrait still clear and Monticello's lines still crisp, it commands instant respect in the collector world. A verified 1944 with D. Monticello Jefferson war nickel in fine condition is now trading around $82,000. Yes, $82,000 for what began life as a simple 5-cent coin. That figure is real, current, and climbing as demand for wartime silver nickels intensifies. Auction houses from Dallas to Los Angeles have watched bidders push this Denver Mint issue higher and higher, calling it the sleeper treasure of the Jefferson series. The rise isn't slowing. Collectors want coins with a story, and this one has it all: wartime origin, silver content, and the distinct D mint mark that shines like a signature of endurance. What makes this coin special is how it closes the circle. From 1942's experiment to 1945's victory, the 1944 with D stands as the bridge between fear and triumph. It's the coin that saw the world change and carried America's resilience in its design. The gray tone you see on its surface, that is time itself, decades of quiet oxidation turning silver into satin. Collectors cherish it. It is proof that the coin lived, breathed, and lasted. So here's your collector's wisdom from Rare Coin News, USA. If you ever find a Jefferson nickel from 1944 with a D above Monticello, stop everything. Examine its color, protect it instantly, and have it graded. Never clean it. That patina, that gray-silver mist, is its armor. Seal it, store it, and let history work its magic, because coins like this only grow more legendary with each passing year. When you hold a 1944 with D-War nickel, you're not just holding silver. You're holding the echo of victory, the heartbeat of a nation that refused to give up. It's living proof that greatness often hides in the smallest places, like a 5-cent piece that became a treasure of generations. And that's why collectors call it America's Quiet Fortune. So there you have it, the top 5 ultra-rare Monticello Jefferson war nickels that turned history into treasure. 5 coins, 5 stories, 5 windows into the soul of a nation. These are not just collectibles, they are time travelers from the 1940s, each carrying the spirit of American grit and glory. And who knows, one might still be hiding in a forgotten drawer, waiting for you to discover it. If you love stories where history meets fortune, make sure you subscribe and turn on the bell, because Rare Coin News USA brings you fresh, daily updates on America's rarest coins, their rising values, and the legends behind them. Tomorrow's episode might uncover the next big discovery, the kind of coin that changes everything. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching, because sometimes the smallest coin can reveal the biggest treasure.